What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and today I'm going to be playing some more Surviving Mars. I'm going to be playing the DLC Green Planet, and last time what I did is I went through a few of the different tutorials. I went through the drones tutorial, which is maintenance, which is talking about how the drones and Mars rovers actually work in the game. Now I've actually taken the liberty to actually go through and complete all of the rest of the tutorials myself, just so I kind of know what I'm doing in the game and to brush up on the basics. So now I think I'm actually ready to actually start my first world. So we're going to jump into the survival mode, and there's a few different options that we can pick before we start our space program. This is pretty interesting. I don't think I know exactly what I'm supposed to do because the tutorials don't really cover everything, but hopefully I can actually start a mission and get something working. So the first thing which you have to pick when you start a mission is actually the mission sponsor. So this is basically the organization which is behind the funding and investment into your space program. So what this basically does is it changes a few different things, it gives you a few different perks and kind of affects how your whole mission works, and it gives you some bonuses. So if I click on it, there's a few different ones, okay? The default one is the Mars mission, which gives you a large rocket payload and the colonists never get Earthsick, for an example. Now each of them, you have different countries, so you have the US, China, Russia, Europe. You have Space Y or Spacey, which is basically just a joke about SpaceX. They give you additional drones and cheaper advanced resources. So what I am actually going to select is this new sponsor, which is actually in the new update. So in the Green Planet DLC, which I'm actually playing now, there is actually a new sponsor which you can select. This is the Terraforming Initiative, okay? So basically, they give you $8 billion funding, as far as I can see. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Obviously, the different sponsors give you a different amount, okay? So if we go through them, the highest one so far is the Blue Sun Corp. They give you 10 bill. But the International Mars Mission gives you 30 billion. So you can see we are making less money here in terms of what our funding is, but I'm going to go with this because this is part of the Green Planet DLC which I'm playing today. So we're going to go with the Terraforming Initiative, and we have 100 applicants, which is the people who you can actually recruit to inhabit Mars. So these are the people that apply to actually be on your planet. And all terraforming techs are 50% cheaper because this is all about terraforming and basically growing grass and crops and plants on Mars and things like that. So forestation plants don't require power, and we get Martian vegetation, which unlocks the forestation plant as bonus tech, as well as interplanetary projects such as terraforming special projects. So we're going to go with this Terraforming Initiative, okay? Then the commander profile is just various other benefits to the colony. This is your role as the actual player, so what I'm going to bring to the mission. So if we select this, I am a rocket scientist right now, but with the new update for the Green Planet, like I said, this is all about the Green Planet, it does bring the commander profile role of geoengineer. So seed import costs are reduced by 50%. You get bonus prefabs, forestation plants and GHG factories, ×2 for each. I'm not sure what the GHG factory does. And then bonus tech, we get designed forestation, which is newly grown forests have a chance to spawn vistas and research sites. So this is pretty cool. We're going to go with this one just because it's part of the whole new update. And on the company logo, it's automatically selected the new one, which is the Terraforming Initiative. So we're going to stick with that. But you can see there is actually some really cool logos over here. You can even have an alien here, which is pretty cool. Then the mystery is an active storyline for the playthrough. So what is going to happen at the end of the game, or what are you going to work towards? So currently the mystery is random. I am going to leave that on random, but you can see there's a few here. So Beyond Earth, Marsgate, and the thing is they don't really tell you what they are. They just have a quote from a famous person, like this one is Isaac Asimov, for an example, so it doesn't tell you what it is. So I'm not really sure what the mystery is or what's going to happen, but I'm going to leave it on random because it's more of a surprise. And then the game rules are just certain different rules which will be outlined in the gameplay. So new is no terraforming, no planetary terraforming, related buildings and texts are not available. I'm not going to select that because that basically disables the whole purpose of what we're doing here. So you can select multiple of these. As you can see, you can basically tick as many as you want. This is just how the whole thing works. So we can have randomized tech fields, begin with 3 prefabs for all buildings necessary for a small colony. I am actually going to select that because I am a bit of a noob at this game, so I do need a bit of a helping hand. Easy maintenance, easy research, automatically fill with resources each sol. So you'll see some of these do actually disable achievements, okay? So easy maintenance, easy research. So I'm going to turn stuff off which does disable achievements because I do actually want to get some achievements. But you can have things like endless supply of materials so you don't have to collect them, or mine research nodes. We can turn on rockets traveling quicker, fast scanning, free construction, which is basically you don't need any resources to build anything. 500 additional applicants. I think that's too much because going through the list of all the different people you can recruit for all the different roles takes quite a long time, so I don't really think that's good. And then no disasters. I think disasters make the game more interesting, so we're going to leave that. And an extra 100 billion funding, which we're not going to do because that disables achievements. And there's so many different ones, okay? Now there's things like rocket travel time being 3 times longer, which you don't want to do because it slows things down so much. Or turning up the crime rate is another one as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back, and now we have all of these game rules. We have 3 different game rules on, okay? So if we select them all, you can see we have sensors are 10 times faster, which is scanning for the different nodes on Mars and exploring. Rockets travel 10 times faster, and also we begin with enough prefabs to start building. So these are kind of like mini improvements and mini little cheats which you can toggle as game rules that should help us out in the game, but they won't disable the achievements. So now we're going to click next, and what we do now is we basically design our rocket and design everything. Now you'll see the rocket's basically predefined based on what logo you picked and what initiative and sponsor you picked. So this is what our rocket looks like. It's going to be green, which is pretty cool because the default one you play as is white. So prefab building, select payload. So this is what you're going to start off with basically. So we can change the name here. This is basically what's going to be on the rocket that you first get. So the rocket's called Bennu 1. I'm just going to leave that because that sounds like a cool name. You could call it something like Apollo 11 or something realistic if you wanted to. And then we have the different things which you can have. RC Commander for an example. Now we can't actually select these, but the things with arrows we can actually put more of. So we already have an RC Dozer, which works on landscaping projects. And then we also have drones, which is super important. I'm actually going to get an extra drone because these are basically used for gathering resources and constructing buildings. So they're super important. And then we already have the max amount of ingredients or materials if you like. So we can click next on that as well. And I think we should be able to start soon. So we can select a colony site. Map topology threats and available resources will be determined by the chosen site. You can replay a game on the same map. So we can click random, and it'll switch to a different site, and you can see it shows you the amount of resources. For example, water is very common, but metals and concrete are a little bit more scarce, and it shows you what threats they pose on which side of the planet you're on as well, which is really cool. So if we keep spinning it, you could actually spin it until you get like a relatively good one. So this has tons of concrete and water, and you can keep randomizing it. Obviously the more you randomize it, the better it'll be. So this has a lot of resources, so I'm going to go with this, but there's more dust storms and dust devils, which are still relatively low. So I'm going to click start, and you'll see the temperature and altitude, and it's pretty flat to build on too. So we're going to click start. So we've got a really nice area there with minimal threats mostly. The threats aren't very dangerous, and tons of resources. So this should be a really good place to actually start a new mission on. So this is interesting. This is the first time I've actually played this. So I'm going to build the first colony. So everyone at mission control is impatient to see the rockets touching down and unloading its precious cargo. Our remotely controlled eyes and hands on the red planet, the drones and rovers. Our goal is to secure a foothold for humanity by building the first Martian dome. So basically all the tutorials were a simulation to kind of get you familiarized with it. This daunting endeavor will allow the brave pioneers and founders to settle on Mars and prove that the colony is sustainable. But until then we have to make sure the colony has enough construction resources, which we have enough of around us if we need to gather more, and water, oxygen and power. Okay, so we see a few different hints on the side here. So let's designate a landing site for the rocket. A promising area has already been scanned for resources. Select the rocket from the highlighted icon at the bottom of your screen. So I'm glad it is showing me tips here because this is good for a new player like me. So we can pick any landing site. So a large flat site would be pretty good. You can see most of this is flat, so I'm going to rotate it with R so it doesn't take up much room, and I'm going to try and shove it in the corner somewhere next to the cliff, and now we're going to put it all over there. So, the terraforming introduction. To terraform Mars and create Earth-like environment for colonists, you have to gradually increase the 4 global terraforming parameters: atmosphere, temperature, water, and vegetation. So we have to kind of manipulate all these different factors to allow Mars to be made green, basically, because it's a barren landscape, but as we progress, we can kind of grow crops and turn it green so it grows grass and vegetation like Earth, I guess. It's a long process, but once complete, humans can actually breathe outside domes as well, because we're going to start creating oxygen from all the plants. Start by researching a terraforming technology when ready. Okay, so we can even go into the encyclopedia and stuff on the game. So this is actually pretty cool. So it gives us a little introduction to stuff. So exploration, we can actually scan an additional sector, which is really cool as well. You would obviously select a probe to scan, and they'll instantly scan a sector of the map, which reveals resource deposits and anomalies in the area. So we should start off with some solar panels, and we should scan a sector of the map. So I'm going to select the orbital probe and scan this here. And it already says scanned, okay? Because we turned on the instant scanning thing. And we can obviously do this to other sectors as well. And you can see they basically instantly scan. I'm not sure how many times we can do this. I think now we've scanned the most we can do. Terraforming buildings are also now available. We can construct them to consume seeds, affect the local soil quality and vegetation, and to increase the 4 global terraforming parameters. So we can go into the terraforming build menu, so that's interesting. And we've made the first step towards turning it into a lush green heaven. So we have unlocked the seeds resource that can be imported from Earth. So you import a lot of different things like materials on rockets from Earth, so you can make missions between Mars and Earth to actually get more materials and research, which is really nice. They're stored in specialized storages and used by forestation plants and open farms for planting vegetation outside the domes. Most plants require some terraforming progress to be made. Check out the atmosphere, temperatures, surface water, and the vegetation coverage in their planetary view. Improving these parameters will improve the productivity of some buildings, decrease the severity of disasters, and ultimately may render Mars lush, breathable, and covered with liquid water. First, we need to select a tech to research, so we can select a few different ones, and these will unlock different benefits in the colony. So it depends, I guess, what we want to start with. So you start off with the vegetation, Martian vegetation, because we've selected this certain one. And we can go into the engineering, robotics. We're going to research the drones, which is pretty cool. And what else? The grant of more money is pretty interesting as well. I'm not sure, can we just research everything? I guess we can just queue everything to be researched, but we just have to wait a long time for it to be researched. Research a breakthrough. Okay, so these are milestones. So we've completed one milestone, research a breakthrough. So now what we do is we're going to start building stuff. We're going to turn the game speed up to maximum so things move around quick, because this is so slow. I don't want things to be this slow. And then what we can do is we can look around what to do next. So we can return the rocket to Earth, and we can put it into automated mode too, which will make it travel back to Earth and back, and it'll land on the same spot, but it won't take anything. So if we go into our build menu now, we need to have some kind of power. Okay, I guess we can scan more sectors, I guess. Add to queue. Okay, what's this whole shadow stuff? I don't like this. This whole shadow luminova is not good. New resource seeds. They're available in a new resource which can provide local soil quality and increase the global vegetation. So we can import them. I'm not sure how we actually import them from the rocket. So first we'll build a sensor tower, which we'll need power for. We're going to have to create some sort of power grid. So we're going to create that there, and that will basically improve the scanning speed. We don't really need that right now because of our perk, but we're just going to build it anyways. The recharge station is super important for the drones as well, so we are going to make this right next to the sensor somewhere. And everything's pretty tiny, you can see, so we can fit them all in the area pretty easily. And then we need the drone hub.
Resources are low.
Okay, we've already started losing resources. This is important to make this drone hub now because the drones will actually be created when we have the drone hub. Like, we can actually start making more drones, which is super important. And we also need electric power, so we can make either solar panels, wind turbines, or some kind of power generator. So what we need is also a universal depot. So it gives us most of the important stuff. We need power next, so we've built the main infrastructure, so we need power. So I guess we could make a wind turbine, which should generate power. We can make a wind farm at some point. I'm not sure where I should place this. Probably somewhere close by so I can connect all the power cables. So I'll create the first wind farm, or wind turbine if you like, and I'll try and make them kind of all in a row. And then what I'm going to do after is we can get a power accumulator, and this will store all the power from the different things that we have. So we can store the power from the wind turbines in this, and then we can create another one that stores solar power, for an example, and then we can plug wires into that. So I'm going to put this power accumulator here, and you'll see it's going to take a while to build all this stuff because all these units are going to it, and they're getting all the resources, and they'll automatically farm things like the rock around it to actually bring resources back. So now that we've done that, what we can do is we can actually build power cables from the power storage unit, and then what we can do is we can build them to the wind turbines. And what this will do is it'll mean that they'll store the power that they generate directly into this thing. So now we'll just wait for them to create the cables. The one annoying thing is they are creating the cables first, so I'm going to turn the priority of this up so they make the power accumulator first. Because if they make the cables first, which they are seeming to do right now, then it won't actually connect the wires automatically. So once you do that, then what you do is you would select a power cable to the drone hub, and then to the power storage, and then that will actually lead to sourcing all the machines with power from the generators. One of the leading companies in the field of nanotechnology and miniaturization has made you an interesting offer. They want to outsource the research and development of your new prefab compression technology that lets you transport prefabs of monumental buildings to Earth. They have a list of specific requirements which makes them the best candidate for this. Our colony is remote, far from prying eyes, and almost depopulated in case of nanite contamination, and you would hardly break an agreement of confidentiality. So, I'm just going to accept it because why not? Concrete extractors automatically produce concrete, but they still need power and drones to service them. So that would be useful. There's so many things which we can build. I'm not sure how much we're actually going to be able to build in this situation. So we're going to have to start building some more stuff. So these solar panels aren't completing. I think that's because we don't have concrete. I think there is actually some way that we can send a rocket though to actually get some stuff. So I think we have to click on the rocket screen and click on cargo rocket, I believe. We don't have that much money actually. We need to be careful. I guess we'll just get 30 loads of concrete. Okay, that's the max we can get. Okay, we'll launch this rocket, and what this will do is it'll send it away from Mars back to Earth, and it should bring us back some resources that we need. So hopefully now, I don't know when this will launch. I think the drones need to leave it, and then it should launch at some point. Oh, return to Earth, here we go. So this rocket is not yet refueled for the return trip. Fuel is produced in a fuel refinery building supplied with water. It is then transported by drones to the rocket. So we need to make a fuel refinery. So there's so many things, honestly, that we need to make. We need to make a concrete extractor, which requires some kind of concrete deposit. So we can build it on here, because there's a concrete deposit here. And then we also need to source power for this, and that will actually get us the concrete that we actually need for buildings. So there is so many different things. Rare metal extractor. This is too far from the drones. This will actually extract metals as well, so this is super important. And I think we need to put this on some kind of deposit as well. Metals extractor, so where can we put this? Too far from drones. You can see this is underground metals. You have to look for the different deposits, and then this is rare metals for where you actually put the extractor on. So fuel refinery is what we need next. I think I probably should have built it in a different position because this huge shadow which is coming over is making it kind of frustrating to actually play. So we can put the fuel refinery somewhere near the rocket because we can use it to recharge the rocket. But put it on this side as well so we can access the other stuff. So I think I'm going to put this here because it's not in the way. So we'll build the fuel refinery there. I don't think we need anything else specifically just yet, so we'll go through what else we need. Water extractor, that's super important. So I'm not sure, we need some kind of source of water. What's this? Concrete deposit. We'll just put another concrete extractor there, I guess. I'm not really sure where we're supposed to be getting water though from this stage. Is there some kind of water thing already here? Concrete. Oh, underground water. Okay, this is good. It's a little bit further down, but hopefully we can use this. So we'll put a water extractor somewhere here. Requires a deposit. So, is it not recognizing the deposit? Too far from working drone commander. Okay, so we need to move the drone commander. Maybe if I move all these guys down here, then I should be able to just do it, right? This is really far from the base, so this is kind of stupid, but I probably should have thought about that when I built the base of operations. I probably should have built it a little bit closer to where the water actually was. This is my thought process right now. If I move these guys down here, then we've discovered the water source now and they're getting close to it. So hopefully that should mean that I can build a deposit on here. So I don't actually know if I have a drone commander. I just have tons of drones. Commanded by drone hub. Okay, so I have a drone hub, which is here. And we need power in this, which for some reason, nothing's been built. We don't have anything because we need concrete. This is the problem right now. So I think maybe, can we build a solar panel? Let's see if we can make a solar panel. We will make like a little tiny solar farm down here. Can we build this? So we need metals. Okay, so we can go ahead and get metals. So we can go down and gather this. This is a metals deposit. So we just need metals in general. So these guys can gather us some metals so we can build the solar panels. And then this drone here is also not doing anything. The batteries of this drone is depleted. It can be recharged by other drones or rescued by a RC commander. Construct recharge stations where such problems occur to prevent this. So this guy can start gathering. This guy is basically dead. If we zoom in, his light's flashing, which means that he's having problems. But this guy's already... Oh, that's actually pretty cool. So this guy's already recharged him. So he's getting sent back to base. And this guy can start sending some metals for us, because we need metals to actually make the solar panel. And now one of the solar panels is being created because we had the metals to do so. So we'll make another solar panel here. The only problem is this needs power. Okay, this needs to be plugged into some kind of power source to actually use. It generates power, but it needs to store it somewhere, I guess. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Maybe I can connect a wire all the way from that down there and then into a solar panel. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I still need metals for this wire, so I'm not going to do that just yet. But the wire won't reach it. Why won't the wire reach it? I think I need to plug it in this way. Yeah, okay, I think it's connected now. Yeah, that's connected, right? I'm pretty sure it's connected. So most of the wire's been made. Hopefully now this should connect into the solar panel, which is currently down because there's no light at this point. But hopefully that should start actually developing some light at some point, which I'm hoping. And then what I should be able to do is when this is completed, there should be power. I'm hoping. And now the solar panels have come back up. So is this thing got power? Insufficient power. So how much power does one solar power give? Power production 4. So it gives 4 power, but I'm not sure if both are connected. They don't have much stored power. I think they need to actually store some power first. I'm not sure if I'm actually doing this right, which is also another problem. I guess I'll just make like a huge solar farm and connect all the wires to each other. And then hopefully, I think they just connect automatically to each other. I don't think I even need these wires. So one wire connects that into this, and then hopefully that connects blocking objects. Wait, what's this resource? Get resources. Waste rock pile. Hey, they've built the power accumulator, so I must have got... Okay, so the waste rock, I got some concrete from that, I think. Yeah, I think it's getting me concrete. That's interesting. Okay, so now we actually have some concrete. So we've built the first thing we were waiting for, which is the power accumulator, which is a big thing. So this stores the power. So now we just have to wait. I think now this isn't red anymore, so maybe we'll actually be able to get the wind turbines going as well. So this is good progress. This is good progress. And you'll see they're actually getting concrete from this concrete deposit below this extractor. The extractor isn't on because there's insufficient power right now. But when this turns on, obviously it will do that automatically. So right now everything's manual, but we actually have a wind turbine up and running as well. So now we should be able to actually start connecting stuff to this. So we've got the power working so far, which took a little bit of trial and error. Now we need to route power from this all the way to this. So hopefully this should provide power if we put this cable on. So they're going to mine this waste rock out of the way until we actually get enough space to go back and finish this pipe off. And when they finish this pipe, or this wire if you like, it should be able to connect everything. So basically just a quick explanation. So first of all, the extractors produce waste rock as a byproduct. Waste rock can be stored in dumping sites or disposed around the extractors. They'll temporarily stop working though when there's not enough drones to carry out the waste rock. We now have 2 wind turbines which will generate wind power, which I can't remember what wind power is called, if I'm honest. I think it's kinetic power, but I might be wrong. So it'll create power from the wind, and then through these wires it'll store the power in a power accumulator. And what we can actually go ahead and do as well is we could make a second power accumulator now, and we could put a cable from the accumulator to all of the solar panels so it can store more power in this accumulator. And then we could actually route the accumulator off to this, and then there's more power in general from everything. All of the power from the solar panels will be stored in this box, and then this box will be wired to everything as well in a circuit. So now you can see there's power in the recharge station for all the drones as well, and the drone hub is efficiently working. So we've built a power infrastructure here which has actually started working, and it's actually pushing stuff as it should be. Now that everything's routed together as well, which is super important and interesting, the concrete extractor's working automatically, so I don't have to worry about getting concrete anymore, which was a huge problem before. And I can also do the same with this concrete extractor, by routing a long cable. This is actually going to go pretty long. I'm routing a long cable somewhere down here and then up through here, and this should route power from the wind turbines and the battery and send them down to this extractor, so I should be able to get double the concrete. So this system works pretty well. We've started to generate the energy, which is the first step, especially because we couldn't actually go back to Earth to get the resources we needed at first because we needed energy. I wanted to send the rocket back at first to get concrete, but we needed energy to send the rocket back. But the only reason why I wanted the concrete from the rocket is because we couldn't get it from the extractors because they had no energy, and now they have energy, so we can just get it without the rocket shipment. So that is a mouthful, but we've basically set everything up, so everything looks good so far. So now the next step is the fuel refinery produces fuel from water, so we can actually get some pipes going. The only problem is the only water source down here is this underground water source. We can put a water extractor on here, but we do have some problems that we have to face now. So if we go ahead and put a water extractor here, there is first of all blocking objects here, okay? And it's outside the drone commander range, which is also another big problem. So how do we solve this? We need to go into the drone hub. Maybe we can make another drone station. I think maybe we need to make another drone hub. The problem is everything's too far from the commander. That's the problem. So I'm not sure how we're actually going to exploit this water source that we so desperately need. So we do need to make a secondary drone hub, okay? But the only problem is it's too far from the original commander to build the first drone hub. So we'll build it right on the edge. We need to build it just out of range, the maximum range, so we can go ahead and build one down here. And then maybe we have to keep building them until we get close to this underground water deposit. I'm not sure what the solution is. I guess we're just going to keep having to trial this out. So this is completed, but we need to select this into a power source as well, okay? So this is going to take a lot of messing around, but hopefully this should allow us to get water. So I'm just going to connect everything via pipes. A dust storm is set to hit the colony soon. It will cause damage to pipes and cables, and will also place a serious strain on all buildings, pushing them towards needing maintenance. Stocking up on the different resources in batteries and tanks is a wise precaution. Disabling non-vital buildings that consume them will help by getting past this natural occurrence. Solar panels do not function during dust storms, so the only thing we have to worry about is solar panels right now. So let's just go ahead and just do what we were doing before, and let's just go and link this up. So now this is linked up and everything should start providing us power, and literally the only thing we really need to do is just get that water, which is becoming a bit of a problem. Now the only thing it says is blocking objects. It doesn't say too far away from the drone commander. It does there, but up here it doesn't, which means if we mine out that rock, we should be good from now on. So if we just finish this cable, then there we go, we've got power. Now what we could do is clear this area, work on this construction. So these guys should go down and they should clear the rock naturally around it and then start building the water source or water extractor, and it should actually fix all the problems we're having, hopefully. Okay, so they'll mine this rock and then now work on this construction. Can they finish it? Okay, they're doing something. I think they're going back to collect resources. The drones will also be affected by dust, so this will malfunction them when they're building. So this dust storm is also going to hinder me, okay? It did warn us in this sector we would have dust storms, so there is going to be a few different problems there. And this lasts for 23 hours in game time, which is kind of problematic. So that's going to cause some problems. We probably can't do what we meant to do. We can't work on this properly. Yeah, it's not letting us work on this properly now. Can't find the required resources. Oh, this is outside the drone commander range. Maybe this is why. So for the water extractor, we have concrete, but we also need machine parts. So maybe we can send the rocket back to get machine parts. So if I go onto the rocket screen, we already have a supply rocket from before, which is already loaded, so we can't remake one. I think what I'm going to do is I am actually going to continue this in the next video. So I'm going to do an episode 2, and we're actually going to progress even further in this colony. We've got pretty far. What we've done is we've set up a whole power grid with solar panels. As well as the solar panels, what we've done is we've created 2 power accumulators to store the power from the solar panels and from the wind turbines, because we've got a wind turbine farm. And you'll see the solar panels have been negatively affected by the dust storm. Then what we've done is we've made the drone hub, a sensor tower, a recharge station, a fuel refinery, which creates fuel from water. And then we've created 2 concrete extractors to actually extract concrete as a material. Now all we need to do next time is create a water source so we can actually get some fuel working for our rocket, although that's providing a little bit of a problem right now. So we're going to do that next time. I'm going to try and get the water source working next time, and then send a rocket back and get a shipment of resources from Earth, and then get on to actually researching and getting a few developments going. So make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and also give it a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.